Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. Speak carelessly to a Sigma and your words will suffocate in the vacuum he leaves behind. That isn't swagger, it's a quiet spoiler alert. Here's why the stakes matter. A 2024 workplace conflict survey reports that 27% of employees have seen a simple disagreement mutate into a full-blown personal attack because someone felt disrespected. Social psychology experiments back it up. People who feel disrespected lash out far harder than those who merely feel disliked. Now drop a Sigma male into that pressure cooker. There's no shouting match, no flying laptops, no dramatic hallway showdowns. He just hits the mute button on the entire scene, strolls off with his peace intact, and leaves the drama wondering who turned off its Wi-Fi. Spoiler, the silence isn't empty, it's a verdict. Ready to dig in? Let's go. Number 1. They know some people are just not meant to be educated. Some people are simply not worth the emotional investment. And Sigma males know this better than anyone. When someone disrespects them, they don't automatically assume it's a bad day or a miscommunication. They don't rush to fix the person or offer lectures about boundaries. They take a quiet internal note. You're not teachable. You're not self-aware. You're not my responsibility. End of story. Sigma males aren't in the business of correcting grown adults who consistently show no desire to evolve. They're not therapists, they're not emotional babysitters, and they definitely aren't handing out personality makeovers. When someone disrespects them, the first thing a Sigma does is evaluate the person's capacity to self-reflect. And if that capacity is 0, they treat it accordingly, not with a tantrum, not with revenge, just a clean mental shift from human being I engage with to background noise I tune out. This is what makes them so unnervingly calm. While others are chasing apologies, explanations, or justice, the Sigma is already halfway out the door, emotionally and mentally. And the beauty is he'll let you talk, he'll let you dig your own hole, but the entire time he's not listening to your words, he's studying your mindset. And if your disrespect reveals arrogance, ignorance, or emotional immaturity, he won't waste his time trying to help you grow. He knows full well that no amount of wisdom will penetrate a person who's addicted to their ego. It's not heartless. It's self-preservation. Sigma males understand that energy is currency, and some people are spiritual pickpockets. They don't want insight. They want attention. They don't want truth. They want chaos. And dealing with them is like trying to teach algebra to a brick wall. So instead of barking at it, the Sigma just walks away and never circles back. He doesn't try to change people, he changes his proximity to them. That's his ultimate form of handling disrespect, recognizing that some people are beyond correction, and protecting his peace by not engaging at all. While others are busy fighting battles they were never meant to fight, the Sigma male walks away undefeated. Not because he won the argument, but because he refused to play a rigged game. Number 2, they mark you as untrustworthy, not important. There's no drama, no fight, no big argument. When someone disrespects a Sigma male, he doesn't treat it like a personal attack. He treats it like data, cold, clinical, and final. He doesn't ask why you did it. He doesn't need an explanation. The moment disrespect shows up, he just mentally adjusts your status. And that new label is untrustworthy. From that point on, everything about how he sees you changes. And here's the catch. You'll probably never even know it happened until it's too late. Sigma males don't chase apologies. They don't corner you for answers. They're not interested in hearing the real reason you crossed a line. To them, disrespect is not a puzzle to solve, it's a verdict. You showed your character and he believes you the first time. There's no second round, no let's talk about it. You just moved from relevance to background noise, where most people see disrespect as a challenge to their ego, a call to defend, react, or fight back. Sigmas see it as a simple update to the emotional algorithm. You don't get rage. You don't get revenge. You get removed. Not dramatically, not publicly, but completely. And because they're so calm while doing it, you won't see the shift until the connection is long dead. This isn't emotional coldness, it's wisdom. Sigma males understand that once someone has shown a lack of respect, everything they do afterward is filtered through that broken lens. So instead of pretending things can go back to normal, they simply choose not to pretend. You're not important anymore, not in their world, not in their mind, not in their energy field. This is why Sigmas are often misunderstood as distant or aloof. They're not heartless. They're just extremely selective with who gets access to their inner world. If you disrespect them, you're not seen as dangerous or intimidating. You're seen as unworthy of trust. and that alone is enough to erase you from the map of their emotional landscape. No blow-ups, no arguments, no warnings, just a silent, permanent downgrade. And by the time you realize you've lost your place in their life, they've already built a world where your presence doesn't even register. That's not revenge, that's ruthless clarity. Number 3, they know that dignity is louder than revenge. Revenge is messy, loud, and exhausting, and Sigma males have no appetite for it. They don't have time to plot schemes or engage in petty power plays. Why? Because they know one undeniable truth. Dignity does what revenge can't. It haunts. When someone disrespects a Sigma, there's no explosive meltdown or theatrical goodbye. Instead, there's a cold, quiet exit. No threats, no warnings, just silence and absence. And the silence hits like a ghost you can't block. What makes it worse for the offender is that the Sigma doesn't just disappear, he stays calm while doing it. That composure, that's the real sting. While others would be yelling or firing off angry texts, the Sigma is already onto something better, mentally, emotionally, and physically. He doesn't need to clap back because his detachment is the clap back. It says, "You're no longer worth my presence," without him needing to spell it out. This response is surgical, it's refined, and it's devastating, especially to people who thrive on conflict. They want drama, they want attention. But Sigmas deny them that completely. That's the move, that's the sting. No closure, no showdown, just quiet power. And there's nothing more frustrating to an attention-seeking, disrespectful person than being ignored by someone who clearly could crush them but simply won't bother. It's not weakness, it's restraint. A Sigma male knows that anyone can react, but not everyone can rise above, and in that quiet, self-contained response, there's an unspoken message. I'm not on your level, and I never was. That hurts more than 1,000 insults. Because dignity, when worn correctly, screams louder than revenge ever could. And Sigmas wear it like armor. Number 4, they flip the script. You just proved me right. Sigma males don't get heartbroken when someone disrespects them. They get confirmation. That cold comment, that shady move, that passive-aggressive jab, it doesn't hurt the way you think it does. It affirms something they already suspected. While most people would spiral into self-doubt, wondering what they did wrong, Sigmas sit back with a mental nod and think, exactly. That's why I never let you all the way in. They operate with a naturally cautious radar. They test people in subtle ways, how you treat others, how you respond to power, how consistent your behavior is. They notice micro shifts in tone, the little digs dressed as jokes, the way you treat people who can't do anything for you. So when you finally cross that disrespect line, they don't flinch. They just update the file. You just exposed yourself. Thanks for the honesty. The average person takes disrespect personally. They internalize it, get emotional, feel attacked. A Sigma doesn't. He takes it as feedback. Not feedback about his worth, but about yours. And in his mind, your disrespect didn't hurt him. It validated him. It confirmed that his instincts were on point and his emotional boundaries weren't paranoia. They were precision. That's why they never chase people after being disrespected. There's no urge to fix things. No desperate attempt to prove themselves or clear misunderstandings. They already suspected something was off about you. Your behavior just made it obvious. That's not heartbreak. That's closure. Delivered by your own hand. To a Sigma male, disrespect doesn't call for revenge, it calls for removal. But the twist is, they don't remove you in anger. They remove you with calm, almost clinical detachment. Because it's not about emotions, it's about accuracy. You proved them right. And there's nothing left to discuss, and that's what really stings for most people. Not the silence, not the detachment, but the realization that their own actions got them cut off. You didn't shock him, you confirmed him. You thought you were playing a power move. He saw it as an unpaid confession. Game over, and you wrote the ending. Number 5, they stay calm because they already saw it coming. A Sigma male doesn't get blindsided by disrespect because he's running quiet analytics every time someone opens their mouth. He clocks the half-second delay before you answer a question. The twitch in your jaw when praise lands on someone else. The uptick in volume when you want the room's attention. Those aren't random quirks, they're early warning sirens. By the third hangout, he's built a working model of your temperament, your tells, and where you store your ego. So when the actual disrespect finally shows up, maybe a snarky comment, maybe a public eye roll, he's not shocked. He's simply ticking a mental box that says, and there it is. That advance intel lets him stay cool. While most people scramble for a comeback or stew overnight crafting the perfect clapback text, He's already filed the incident under confirmed prediction and moved on to pondering dinner. His calm isn't forced. It's the natural byproduct of foresight. You don't throw water on a fire you put out yesterday. Part of the trick is that Sigmas treat social interaction like slow chess. They know people telegraph their future moves through micro-reactions nobody else bothers to read. A quick glance away when accountability walks in. That's a cracked pawn. Laughing a little too hard at someone's mistake. That's a loose bishop. He logs those pieces, predicts their paths, and plans accordingly. By the time disrespect steps onto the board, the Sigma is already 4 moves deeper into a new strategy that doesn't include you. Because he's seen it coming, he doesn't get sucked into the emotional whirlpool. There's no adrenaline spike, no shaky hands, no replaying the moment in the shower. Instead, there's the quiet satisfaction of accurate pattern recognition. It's the same pleasure you get from guessing a plot twist long before the big reveal, except in this case, the movie is real life and the popcorn is his unbothered peace of mind. The kicker is that his calmness unnerves the offender. They expect friction, maybe a defensive rant. Instead, they meet a brick wall of indifference. No raised voice, no flushed cheeks, just a polite nod and an internal door sliding shut. They wanted to rattle him, all they did was validate him. And nothing feels more disarming than realizing your so-called power move was already penciled into someone else's forecast. Number 6, they don't confront, they correct the environment. Sigma males don't confront people because they don't believe in wrestling with low-frequency energy. Arguing feels like a performance to them, loud, reactive, and almost always a waste of time. So when someone disrespects them, they don't raise their voice or start a debate. They quietly start rearranging the environment, and by the time the other person notices, the room feels colder, the access is thinner, and the dynamic has completely shifted. The punishment isn't loud, it's logistical. You used to have unlimited access to their time, that doors now half closed, maybe locked. Conversations that once flowed now feel clipped and formal. Invitations stop, vulnerability dries up. All the little emotional privileges you never realized you had, gone. No announcement, no memo, just absence. You don't even notice it at first because Sigmas don't act bitter or distant. They act normal, just minus the warmth. And that missing warmth, that's the consequence, that's the message. This quiet recalibration is strategic. Sigmas know most people don't take words seriously, they take actions seriously. So instead of telling you they felt disrespected, they just make it uncomfortable to continue as if nothing happened. They don't punish you with guilt trips or emotional outbursts. They let you feel your own irrelevance. And here's the genius of it. By changing the environment instead of confronting the person, they take control without ever entering a power struggle. You can't fight someone who refuses to play. You can't argue with silence. You can't win back comfort that was never taken by force, but simply withdrawn, slowly, calmly, intentionally. This approach doesn't just protect the Sigma's peace, it forces others to reflect. Some will notice the shift and realize they messed up. Others won't even catch on. Either way, the Sigma gets what he wants, distance from people who don't respect boundaries. He doesn't need a mic drop moment. He just dims the lights on the connection until it quietly fades into the background. By the time you realize what's changed, the emotional oxygen is already gone, and you're left gasping in a space where you used to breathe freely, wondering how you lost access and why it feels like you're no longer welcome in a room that was once wide open. Number 7, they don't lose sleep, they lose you. Someone disrespects a Sigma male and expects fireworks. What they get is a blackout. One minute you have a front row seat to his time and energy. The next you're staring at a closed door that never slams, because slamming would mean he cared enough to make noise. He doesn't pace floors, replaying the insult. He doesn't craft late-night essays in his head about what he should have said. His mind is programmed for efficiency, and replaying your mistake is a pointless loop that burns resources he'd rather spend on anything. Projects, workouts, even a good nap. Cutting you off isn't emotional, it's administrative. Think of him as an overworked systems admin who sees your name pop up in the error logs once too often. He doesn't hold a grudge against the corrupted file, he just deletes it so the network runs smooth again. Message threads disappear. Meeting invites skip your inbox, and the casual "what's up" you used to get on weekends evaporates. Not because he's plotting revenge, but because you've been reclassified from trusted user to blocked address. It happens as quickly as toggling a switch, and he sleeps like a baby afterward. 8 solid hours, 0 buffering. People assume indifference is a mask for hurt feelings. With a Sigma, indifference is exactly what it looks like. By the time you're composing a heartfelt apology, he's already switched contexts, troubleshooting something more useful, like optimizing his next business move or figuring out which podcast pairs best with leg day. Your drama has no rerun value. He scrubs it from the playlist before the first commercial break. What stings most is his silence. Anger would validate you. It would prove you still have a foothold in his mental space. Instead, you get nothing. No reaction, no subtle shade, not even a meme. That vacuum forces you to confront the real consequence. You no longer exist in a mind you once tried to rattle. His deletion is surgical because he knows healing starts the moment the infection is removed, not the moment the wound is discussed. So he spares himself the long, messy talk through and skips straight to the antidote: distance. By dawn, he's refreshed, file cabinet reorganized, and ready for a day where your name never crosses the dashboard again. That's not cold. That's economical. And nothing keeps him warmer at night than a ledger cleared of liabilities, especially the human kind. Number 8, they use it as a mirror to reflect your weakness. When someone disrespects a Sigma male, he doesn't instantly see it as a hit to his ego. He sees it as a reveal, a window into your weakness, your slip-up, your unresolved chaos. And instead of firing back or defending himself, he takes a mental step back and lets your behavior speak for itself. Because to him, disrespect is never just about what you said, it's about what it reveals about who you are. He knows the difference between power and noise. And most disrespectful people are just loud with insecurity, that sarcastic jab, insecurity masked as wit, that backhanded compliment, desperation to feel above someone who intimidates you, that public call-out. A cry for attention from someone drowning in self-doubt. A Sigma sees all of this instantly. And that's exactly why he won't dignify it with a reaction. Why bother wrestling in the mud with someone already face down in it? His silence isn't weakness. It's a spotlight. He lets your behavior echo in the room with no resistance. And in that silence, your own actions start to feel heavier, messier, and harder to ignore. You end up being exposed by your own hand, not because he shamed you, but because you projected too much hoping it'd stick to him, and it bounced back. A Sigma is a mirror with no filter, no distortion, just pure reflection. So when you disrespect him, you're not bruising his self-worth, you're broadcasting your own cracks. That's the brilliance in how he handles it. He doesn't stoop, he doesn't correct you, and he definitely doesn't engage. He just observes. And while you think you've won some kind of upper hand, what you've really done is confirmed everything he already sensed about you. You're not grounded, you're reactive. You're threatened by energy that doesn't bow or compete. So he walks, calmly, cleanly, without turning back. Not to punish you, but to preserve his own integrity, because he knows your behavior was never about him. It was a mirror moment, and you flinched at your own reflection. The only difference is, he saw it and you didn't, and he's not sticking around to explain it. Number 9. They never explain their response. That is the response. When a Sigma male decides he's done with you, that's it. No big speech, no drawn-out closure conversation, no moral lesson wrapped in a rant, just silence and then absence. You won't get a final message explaining why he pulled away. There's no goodbye note waiting in your inbox. What you'll get is a slow realization that the connection has flatlined and you're the only one still holding the cord. The reason is simple. Sigmas don't believe in over-explaining what's already obvious. If you disrespected him, you know what you did. And if you're confused, that confusion is the punishment, that gnawing feeling of, did I say something wrong, or why is he acting different? That's what replaces the usual emotional explosion people expect when they cross a line. He knows the power of unanswered questions. While most people rely on confrontation to reclaim power, Sigmas withdraw theirs and let the void do the talking. It's a mind game without even trying. You're left replaying the last interaction, combing through conversations, rereading old texts to find the moment it shifted. But the truth is, the shift already happened in his head long before the silence started. He mentally clocked the disrespect, weighed it, decided you weren't worth the energy, and made his exit strategy while you were still thinking everything was fine. That's what makes his response so brutal without being loud. It's the lack of reaction that messes with you. You don't get to feel right or wrong. You just feel ignored, not blocked, not screamed at, just removed without explanation. And that lack of closure, that's not an oversight. It's intentional. Because here's the real Sigma logic. If you needed him to explain why your actions were a problem, you weren't emotionally intelligent enough to be in his life in the first place. Explaining himself to someone who disrespects him is like apologizing to a burglar for locking the door. It's backwards and beneath him. So when he's done, he doesn't announce it. He just disappears, emotionally, mentally, then physically. And by the time you start wondering why, he's already forgotten the question. That silence you're left sitting in, that is your answer. And it's louder than any paragraph he never wrote. Number 10. They don't match energy. They evacuate the battlefield. Most people try to fight fire with fire. You disrespect them, they come back louder, meaner, and twice as petty. It becomes a contest of who can throw the dirtiest punch. But Sigma males don't play that game, and it's not because they can't win. It's because they don't see the point. The moment someone disrespects them, they don't go into battle mode. They go into exit mode. They don't match your energy. They leave the entire arena. To a Sigma, disrespect is all the information he needs. It tells him exactly who you are and where you stand. And more importantly, it tells him that you don't deserve his energy, his words, or his presence. So instead of escalating, he retreats, not out of fear, but out of sheer disinterest. You're not worth the effort it takes to throw a punch back. This is where it gets interesting. Most people expect conflict. They expect a reaction. They want a scene. But when a Sigma male doesn't take the bait, it's disarming. You insult him. And instead of clapping back, he just stops showing up. You make a slick comment and he doesn't flinch. He just mentally checks out and starts treating you like an expired option. It's like trying to pick a fight with a ghost. The reason this works so powerfully is because Sigmas don't need to win arguments. They need to protect their peace. If the price of engaging with you is losing their calm or stepping out of alignment with who they are, they'll gladly let you win the argument while they quietly win the war by removing themselves entirely. To them, matching energy with someone who's already lost control is like jumping into a burning house to prove you're not scared of fire. It's stupid, it's avoidable, and it's beneath them. So they don't engage, they evacuate. Game over. Board flipped. Player 2 disqualified by their own disrespect. And while you're still standing there trying to figure out where the fight went, the Sigma has already moved on to something more productive. He doesn't need to destroy you, he just needs to stop acknowledging you exist. That's how he wins. By refusing to play a rigged game with someone who already exposed their weakness. Number 11, they log the incident for future strategy. When someone disrespects a Sigma male, he doesn't explode or lash out, he watches, he listens, and then he mentally files it away. Like a sniper marking wind direction before taking a shot he may never need. He doesn't log the offense out of pettiness, he logs it for strategy. Because for him, people are patterns, not puzzles. And your slip-up just gave him more data about how you operate under pressure, in power, or when your ego's bruised. The Sigma's mind works like a live algorithm. Every social interaction is input. He's not watching for drama, he's tracking behavior. One moment of disrespect doesn't make him cut you off necessarily, but it does shift how he handles you moving forward. That little insult you threw when you were irritated, it goes in the vault. The way you minimized his point in a group setting. Noted. He might still interact with you, he might even act normal, but behind that calm exterior, the emotional blueprint has already been restructured. The brilliance here is that Sigmas don't store resentment, they store information. They're not waiting for a revenge arc or a dramatic call-out. They're just recalculating. Less trust, less access, less investment. You won't get a warning label, but make no mistake, your value in his system just dropped. Not because he's mad, because he's observant. This is how he protects his energy without burning bridges. He doesn't need to expose you or make a scene. He simply adjusts the way he engages with you. You'll feel it, not as punishment, but as distance. Conversations get shorter. Vulnerability dries up. You're not in the inner circle anymore, and you might not even realize when the shift happened. That's the difference between a Sigma and everyone else. Most people react to disrespect emotionally. Sigmas use it as calibration. They don't respond with ego, they respond with upgraded boundaries. They're not playing emotional checkers, they're running internal diagnostics and rewriting the script on how they deal with you in the future. So while others get loud, Sigmas get smarter. They never forget. Not out of spite, but out of strategy. And the next time you try that same move, don't be surprised when it doesn't land. The system already updated and you've been silently recategorized. Number 12, they don't clap back, they just let you rot in irrelevance. A Sigma male doesn't waste his breath trying to hurt you back. He doesn't roast you, drag you, or try to outshine your disrespect with a clever comeback. That's too easy and too loud. His approach is far more lethal. He makes you irrelevant. He doesn't block you. He doesn't delete your number. He just lets your presence fade into the background like static that no one hears anymore. You go from being a name to being nothing. And that silence, that's the real punishment. This isn't passive aggression, it's full-blown detachment. Because for a Sigma, clapping back still means you mattered enough to warrant a reaction. And if you've disrespected him, you just lost that privilege. He's not going to invest a single word into trying to make you feel what he felt. Why would he? He doesn't want you to feel anything. He wants you to cease to exist in his reality. Most people can't handle this level of indifference. They crave attention, even in conflict. They want to feel like their disrespect caused a dent. But when the Sigma doesn't even flinch, doesn't acknowledge, doesn't engage, you're forced to face a harsh truth. You don't matter to him anymore. Not even as an enemy, not even as someone worth disliking. That's the quiet genius behind the Sigma male's strategy. He lets the weight of your own irrelevance do all the heavy lifting. While others are burning bridges or throwing digital punches, he's already emotionally relocated. He doesn't carry grudges, he carries amnesia. And being forgotten by someone who once gave you attention, that stings more than any insult ever could. The real sting isn't in being attacked, it's in being unacknowledged. And Sigmas are masters of turning the volume all the way down on people who thought they were playing a major role. You don't get blocked because you're not even worth the click. You just get ignored, systematically, completely, and forever. So when someone disrespects him, the Sigma doesn't react. He evaporates. He lets them rot in a place worse than confrontation. Total indifference, no love, no hate, just zero gravity. That's his superpower. And most people never see it coming until they're already drifting in the silence, wondering when and why the lights went. Sigma males don't fight disrespect with drama, they dismantle it with strategy. While the world expects noise, retaliation, or emotional chaos, the Sigma simply recalculates, withdraws, and upgrades his boundaries without ever raising his voice. He doesn't need to announce the cutoff or teach you a lesson. The disrespect was the lesson for him. And the silence afterward, that's the echo of his clarity doing the work. Every response a Sigma male gives is intentional. Sometimes it's distance. Sometimes it's deletion. Most times it's complete emotional disinterest wrapped in composure. He's not trying to win the conflict. He's too busy conserving energy, reprogramming dynamics, and recategorizing people with surgical precision. What you think was a disrespectful power move, he clocked it, decoded it, and quietly marked you as unfit for further access. Sigma males don't retaliate. They vanish. They don't explain. They evolve. And they don't get emotional. They get efficient. That's not avoidance. That's power, the kind that isn't loud or angry, but clear, calm, and untouchable. So if you ever feel confused by a Sigma's silence after disrespecting him, understand this. The game didn't pause. It ended. You just weren't told. If you found value in this deep dive into how Sigma males handle disrespect with razor-sharp clarity and quiet dominance, do us a favor. Don't just watch, engage. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another brutally honest breakdown. Like the video to show some love. Drop a comment below and let us know which point hit the hardest. Or if you've witnessed this Sigma-style shutdown in real life. And of course, share this with someone who needs to understand that not all silence is weakness. Sometimes it's the cleanest power move. Your support keeps this channel sharp, fearless, and always one step ahead.